Hello and welcome to episode number 12 of Local LowDown. My name is Zach Bischoff and I'm joined by a smiling. Whoop! Try that again.
Danny Shanholzer.
There we go. Sorry, I had your audio muted there. All right. Today we are going to talk about if this is our, what is this, our fourth take trying to do this?
I think so, Zach.
Yes, I think this is our fourth take. So we were going to talk about the slate of college football action that occurred yesterday. Yesterday, Saturday. I forget it is. All right, we're going to talk about first Colorado and their dominant first two games of the season. Danny, your thoughts on beating number 17 TCU first and Nebraska here yesterday. Just give me your overall thoughts on those two games.
Yeah, for sure, Zach, and great to be with you, man. Excited to talk some college football here. Zach, it's no secret that the Colorado Buffaloes are the talk of the college football world right now, and for good reason. I mean, this is a team that won one game last year in 2022, and I mean they've already doubled their win total. And they played two worthy opponents so far in TCU that made the national championship game last year, and Nebraska, who under head coach Matt Rule is kind of they're trying to kind of rebuild. But Zach, they've been dominant, man, and people are starting to really think that Colorado is for real here. I mean, college game day is going next week when Colorado plays Colorado State, and that was a game last year that was written off. Two teams from Colorado, nobody's really going to watch, but now college game day is going to be there, and I think what's really fueled the Buffalo's just amazing offense so far has been the play of Shador Sanders, along with Travis Hunter. They connected really well, especially in the first game against TCU. They have so much chemistry, and they're super fun to watch, and it seems like they always know where one another uh, is on the field. I mean, Travis Hunter plays both ways as well, which is incredible. And along with that, Zach, and I'll turn it back over to you after this, but I just have been super impressed with the depth of their skill positions, man. I mean, it seems like these past couple weeks. I mean, Travis Hunter played super well against TCU, and then a guy that we didn't really know too much about, Xavier Weaver, burst onto the scene with like 3 touchdowns or something like that against Nebraska yesterday. So that they've just really been able to kind of spread the wealth, if you will.
Yeah, Danny, my question to you is we'll talk about Nebraska here in a second. I have a question about that I just thought of. But my question to you is the impact that Coach Prime or Deion Sanders, father of quarterback Shador Sanders, has had on this Colorado program, and also do you think that if Colorado's play continues the way it has been, do you think they have a chance at the playoff come year's end?
Zach, that's a loaded question, man, and I would expect nothing less because you want to post there, but yeah, Zach. I mean, it's no secret that Coach Prime's impact has been big. We can see that with just the amount of media coverage that Colorado is getting because Deion Sanders, because of what he did in the NFL and kind of just his personality, attracts attention. Zach,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just is a guy that I think his players respect for his kind of non-traditional way of leading. He's a guy that definitely is still has, it seems like he still coaches with that same competitive fire that he had as a
Mm-hmm.
player. And I think everybody respects him for that. I mean, I think all his players realize how good of a player he was in the NFL, and because of that, just really want to play for him. And
Mm-hmm.
Zach, I think that what a lot of people are what a lot of people are, I think, are kind of realizing is Dion has been there for 1 year, for 2 games that
Mm-hmm.
they played, and they've already, like as I said, they already doubled their win total in his first year. How many times do we see when a new coach has um has come onto the scene that when they struggle from the get go, that everybody's like, oh, just give them a couple years and they'll finally get the rebuilding process started. I think Dion is kind of changing that perception that, like, if you're a good coach, you're gonna find a way for your team to win. Colorado had one win last year. I mean, and Dion is definitely a guy that is there to win. And I think everybody sees that, and I think that he's going to change the for better or for worse the college football coaching kind of way that it's always been. I don't think there's going to be as much leeway in terms of rebuilding years for college teams because you know, athletic administrations are going to look at what Colorado did, um, so I think that's going to be something super fascinating to watch coming up here, just how his impact um, is felt in college football. Um, and to the last part of your question, Zach, and I'm going to be curious to hear what you think. I mean, I think that Colorado. They definitely did not shy away from scheduling ranked teams in their schedule. I mean, they play, I believe it's Oregon and USC, who are both ranked 13th and 6th, respectively. And they already played TCU, who was ranked 17th
Yeah.
and won and made it to the national championship game last year. So Colorado certainly did not shy away from from scheduling really talented teams. I don't think that this is going to be the year that Colorado makes the playoffs just because there are only 4 teams. And I honestly think that even if Colorado does pretty well and only has, let's say, one loss, that they still might, that the committee might still lean on what they've always leaned and give um, Alabama and Georgia and those SEC powerhouses
Mm-hmm.
bids over a team like Colorado. But I think come next year with the expansion of the playoff, I think that Colorado, if they continue to progress, I think they're going to be right there, man.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. I partially agree with your point. I don't think Colorado's going to make it this year, but with playoff expanding to 12 teams, um, I think Colorado can if they. I don't know what their senior class is like this year, but I certainly think that they can contest for a playoff spot. Maybe this, probably not this year, but probably when the playoff moves to 12 teams starting next season. Um, I think they can run for a spot there. And something else I just thought of while we took a little break there. Your thoughts on the new college clock rules? The clock remains running on first downs outside of the first 2 minutes or last 2 minutes, excuse me, of the second and fourth quarters. Have you noticed a difference in speed of games or anything like that?
Yeah, Jack. I do like that rule, man. I always kind of thought that it was a little bit weird that the clock stopped after a first down in college football, and obviously in the NFL, that's not the case. Um, so I do like that, and I kind of do also like the how it does stop in under 2 minutes in the second and fourth quarter because I think that's really when you want your best drive, that 2-minute offense there. So I do like that those new rule changes, and good on the NCAA for making those changes. 'Cause I think the game goes a little bit faster, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
more exciting, honestly,
Yeah.
because
And yep, good.
just clock management is of emphasis with
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah. All right, now we're going to go into Colorado's second game that took place yesterday. They beat Nebraska by some ridiculous score. I don't remember what it is, but they dominated like they did last week. And Danny, your thoughts on specifically on the play of Nebraska quarterback Jeff Sims, who had I think at least 3 turnovers, if not more, multiple fumbles for the Nebraska offense, and just the really disjointed look of the Nebraska offensive offense.
Yeah, Zach. Nebraska certainly did not really look that good. As you mentioned, Jeff Sims did not have a great day at the office, so to speak. I think the biggest thing with Nebraska is just I think that they're a team that almost always kind of underperforms from what everybody kind of thinks that they're going to do. You know, they played Minnesota, I think it was, and they just it was just kind of the same thing, just very disjointed. Um I think the reason why they lost, if I could be wrong, and if I am for our listeners that are Nebraska fans, I'm sorry, but I believe
We don't have any listeners in Nebraska.
we might, Jack. We are the lowdown, man. I mean,
I look at the analytics. We don't have listeners in Nebraska.
all right. Well,
I
maybe
don't
if
think
this one.
we might.
Anyway, good call there, Jack. They just I don't I think they lost last week on like a missed field goal or something, um, and to Minnesota, and I think that Nebraska's just I don't think they're going to have a great year this year, but I hope for all Nebraska's sake that Matt Rule obviously as the pedigree of being an NFL head coach can kind of turn that program around.
All right. All right. Now we're going to talk about Pitt's. Speaking of disjointed efforts, we're going to talk about Pitt's very disjointed looking game after they lost to Cincinnati. I believe it was 27-21. Danny, your thoughts just on the play of just in general, the Pitt offense. What you think the greatest weakness of it was, and I think you and I both know the answer to that. But your thoughts?
Yeah, Zach, for sure, man. Obviously, disappointing second game of the season for Pitt. I think our biggest weakness against Cincinnati was just a combination of um, Jacobic not being accurate, Pitt's quarterback not being accurate, and also the offensive line putting him in not great situations, having to deal with pressure all night. Now, I think that um, Cincinnati's defensive line definitely had something to do with that. I mean, they're a very good line. Dante Corleone is like one of the best um, defensive tackles in the country. They call him the Godfather, I believe, in Cincinnati. Um, but I think, and maybe this is because we played because we played a 3-win team in Wofford. I think that we weren't necessarily ready as a whole offensive line to play against a team like Cincinnati because we really did not do any sort of pressure against Wofford in week one. I think that really hurt us. I think the biggest thing that I want to see for improvement, Zach, looking towards a solution here, looking towards how do we rectify this. I would just like to see Dracovic more confident. I think those two go hand in hand, right? If the offensive line is good, they're giving him good protection. He can stand in and deliver a throw. And when Dracovic had time, he was better than when he was hurt, obviously, but he still didn't seem to be at his best. There were just a couple of throws that he had that were just really uncharacteristic for him. I mean, this guy's known for how good his arm is. He's a pocket passer that can run a little bit, and he really just kind of threw a couple balls behind receivers such as Bob Means. And I'm really hoping that Jacobic can kind of just we can kind of Frank Signetti, our offensive coordinator, can kind of simplify the game for him a little bit coming up here, going forward. That's my hope is that we can just make like have some easy completions to kind of get them going because 10 for 32 does not get it done against a team like Cincinnati.
No.
But I think the biggest thing is um, just having looking more confident as an offense because we
Yeah.
really did not look confident, Zach.
Yeah, no, he didn't. Yeah, I think initially when I started watching the game, I mean, it was what 7-0, what 2 minutes in, and most of that yardage
Yeah,
was on a really you can't a yeah, it wasn't a good game overall. I mean, it was really an inexcusable personal foul or a late hit out of bounds on one of the Pitt D men that really that gave Cincinnati that first touchdown. But I really think that even looking past that, it Pitt was like I said, it was very disjointed. Jakovic was wildly inaccurate. And after that, I thought it was all him, but it wasn't. It was the play of the offensive line. He was chased. He was running for his life all night. And
Exactly, Zach.
and
Zach, I mean, think back to the last play there, bud. Like
mhm,
I mean, it was fourth and I believe it was 4th and 10, and Cincinnati got playing for the game. We got a turnover by our defense that really
mhm,
started
yep,
coming alive in that fourth quarter, and then we just had a 4th and 10 for the game, and they sacked us right away.
yeah. That play was done. I was just about to go there from the snap. But if you get an interception for I think it was at midfield or just before it, you really need to come down there. And my question was, I was questioning a lot of the play calling. He was throwing deep like the second play. He was throwing deep a lot. He wasn't throwing to the checkdowns.
Yeah.
He I can't remember one time he did that all last night. So I think it was a really disjointed effort, and I think Pitt deserved to lose that game. And moving forward into West Virginia, the backyard brawl, which is being played in Morgantown, I think I think that is going to be a tough game, and I think Pitt will fall in that game if we don't find a solution for this if we don't rectify the situation for the offensive line and Soldier. Go ahead, Danny, your thoughts quickly, and then we have to wrap this up.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, I certainly don't think that the West Virginia game is going to be easy. West Virginia's really played the local team so far. They played West Virginia last week, Duquesne this week, and West Virginia to me is a little bit of a like more of a wild card.
You mean
Um,
Penn State and West Virginia first?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. You
Um,
said West Virginia.
my bad, my bad. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Thank you for correcting me there, Zach. But yeah, I think that I don't know. I thought that we would kind of um, beat West Virginia because of they're not as good as they have been in the past. They don't have that the talent that they have had in the past. But I'm unsure, Zach, because I thought that we would have a better showing against Cincinnati because like
Hmm.
West Virginia, Cincinnati's not as good as they were. But Cincinnati, I mean, I think that just shows that like yes, Pitt looks good on paper, in year 8 of Pat Narduzzi, but we still got to execute, right? We still have to. I mean, it's hard to win college football games in the
Hmm.
ACC and against good teams like Cincinnati. So we've got to like we don't have. It's not like we get to play Wofford every week. We have
No.
to take take advantage of our chances, and we really did not do that. This week, and I'm hopeful. I want to be optimistic, but like you said, Jack, I'm not very optimistic because of what I saw yesterday, man.
And your closing remarks?
No, Zach, just really enjoyed talking some college football with you here, man, and excited to watch some NFL football today as well. And I think I would like to get a podcast out on that if we can make something work. Appreciate everybody for watching and listening. And as always, thanks Zach for having me, buddy.
All right, and yes, you will have an NFL recap hopefully by midweek next week after all the week one games concluded. So, and for he is Danny Shamholzer, I am Zach Bischoff, and thank you for listening to the 12th episode of the what is this? The Local LowDown Podcast. we will see you next week.